Hello and welcome. It is Thursday. Let's see, what is today? May 4th, 2020. And I'm delighted to be here with you for Awareness Moments with Kyra at 12:12. Welcome, Mary McCormick, Morrow, great to see you, and Mike Brentari, and I know there's someone else on there, I don't know who yet. Oh, Carol Curtis, hi Carol, good to have you with us, and Stacy Essman, great to have y'all from Arizona as well as from Texas. It is a powerful time. Welcome, Jackie Rasmussen Lawson. It is a very, very powerful time, and my question for you today is, are you in alignment? And what does that mean? When we align our cars, and we certainly have to do that at various times, have a realignment because of things that occur along the way. I remember one time driving and being maybe a little less than conscious in the moment. It was very dark out one night, and I had a lot of stuff up and stirred up inside of me. And as a result of that, I was not being fully aware and conscious because there's so much stirred up. And so as a result, I didn't really see the median in front of me, and I took off and I literally banged into that median. Now, I did a pretty good number on it. I actually set off my airbag at that moment, but I realized I needed a realignment. Now, sometimes, the bumps in the road that we hit that cause us to go out of alignment are less than that particular circumstance I'm remembering. But they might be that the realignment is needed because of just having hit something in the road, hit a curb, having, something that really shook us up. And all of a sudden, you'll notice there's a little bit of a shake in the car. Have you noticed that? Where maybe the tires wobble, or maybe you're not even fully aware of it, and yet it wears the tires in a different way, and you're actually creating a challenge in the way that the tires run, and it's going to wear them out in a particular way. Welcome, Wendy Hoggett. Glad to have you with us too. And I want to invite us to think about in these times that are so much information, so much extreme experience coming up. We are in a very powerful reset, as we've been talking about. We're in a time of choosing to be conscious in reestablishing a new way of being, a new world in which we're operating. And it means it is shaking us to the core. It is shaking up our foundation. It's shaking up the world in the way that it's operated and saying no more. Now, there are things that we're getting upset about, that we're unhappy with the way that they're transpiring. There are others that are amazing in this process. And we get to choose where our focus is, first and foremost, and how do we perceive and receive and then respond to the circumstances and situations. Are we realigning as something we hit up against something, and it's a bump that maybe has taken us off kilter a little bit? And if we don't get ourselves back in alignment, then we're putting some wear and tear, and we're coming out with a wobble into the world in a way that may not be as aligned with bringing forth the results that we desire. As we look at ourselves of being conscious beings and become aware of who we are and how we operate, we get to take a look at, where am I allowing the things that are happening out here? I want to allow them to affect me. Don't get me wrong. I think it's important that we are affected right now. I don't think we can help but be affected by what is happening in the world, and have an opportunity to really get clear about our own values, about what is important, about where do we take a stance, where do we respond. And we first, though, also, not first, but also in the process, this is a time to get in alignment in our inner being. To say, as I hit that skid in the road, or I hit that situation and it it absolutely shakes me to my core, or angers me, or frustrates me, or brings forth the tears and the recognition that no more. This is enough of this. At so many different levels, we're at that. No, I can't just continue to sit back and not have a response in this. And yet I also know that if I'm not taking time and energy to realign, I'm sending forth a mixed message into the world. I'm taking that anger, that frustration, that pain that I'm feeling, and I'm beginning to then create from the level of that with the wobble in my consciousness. And I want to invite us to begin to notice, where do I need realignment? Where do I need to really settle into that experience and that feeling, and let it be an empowerment. Let it be a powerful empowerment of us to move forward in significant ways to truly create transformation. And yet, to do it from a place where I am aligned with the true higher purpose that I'm here for. How am I adding my anger in a way that then is fueling more anger in the world? Or am I allowing that anger to move through me and recognize that I want to be in alignment with something much greater, and now I move forward in action in another way? And so each one of us have an opportunity, because we are feeling the bam of whatever is throwing us off. And we have to choose now, how do I direct my energy? How do I come into that place of going and making sure that I'm really on the straight and narrow in my own path, in my own way of operating and bringing energy out into the world? We need change. We need transformation. And we're part of it, and we're making that happen. And it's powerful. And yet our words, the thoughts we think, the words we speak, the energy we put behind something, it is powerful, it is potent. More than ever, it is important that it come forth with alignment. Now, we can see the things that are wrong. We can continue to rail against those and create a whole continued stream of consciousness about that. And I don't mean in any way to ignore them. That I'm very, very clear about. This is not a time to ignore what's up for us. But it is a time for us to get clarity about how we express it, about in what manner do I bring my energy into this world and begin to create that alignment that moves us to a higher consciousness, moves us into a place of where we are aligned in a way that is alive for us, and that truly creates the greatest difference in the world. Welcome Laura Mason and Marianne McBride. I so know that we are in this disturbance. Thank you, Mike Brentari. Yes, we are in this, and we're feeling that. And yet, how do I realign myself? Is I have to turn within and say, is what I'm doing really of benefit? Is it creating the impact? Is it creating the result that I desire? What is the effect of what I do? You know, it is sometimes that in the process of it, we get so busy taking action, we're full force ahead, you know, and we are a society that's taught to take action. And I believe that that's an important part, but once I have gotten clear about the purpose and the effectiveness of the actions that I'm taking. There are amazing and effective actions being taken right now out there in the world in the most amazing ways. Welcome Linda Patterson and Ramona and Kimberly. Glad to have you here. And I have to get myself realigned where I am clear about who I am, why I am, what I am. Have I really know myself as a divine presence, and I'm here to bring that peace, that harmony, to help people lift up. I know I'm here to bring messages that help someone realign themselves. Well, I can't do that if I'm out of alignment myself, right? If I'm coming and I'm in a, it doesn't mean I don't have that in me, but I get to work it. I get to say what's really true here. Where's the higher truth in this situation, and what message might bring that forth? So each one of us have messages to share in the world by who we are, how we're being, and then how we're moving forward on that road. Do we have the wobble that's wearing down aspects that is actually not supporting the whole system? See, this is about whole system being in alignment, the whole of the universe being in alignment with the highest, most potent good. This is a time where I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that everything is coming together for a confluence of transformation and change. And I'm so grateful. And all the parts are important. All the players are important. And yet I want to say this one's okay, that one's not okay, this is good, that is bad, and I may not be able to see a higher picture. And as I do that, I may be getting steam off, getting that energy out of me, because before I explode, right? Yet at the same time, I want to be clear, am I really in alignment in a way that that energy is going to support what I want it to support? Is it supporting the greater good? Is it supporting the greater wholeness, the greater awareness that gets us all really operating as a new system? And it may be that some of us are meant to go off and blow off our steam. You know, that can happen too. Yeah. Kimberly says she's been wobbling. Yeah, I think a lot of us have. Arlen, welcome. Glad you're with us. We've been wobbling in that out of alignment from the bumps that have been hitting us, and they're coming at us fast right now, right? And so it takes literally a daily and sometimes an hourly or a momently in the moment realignment. A checking in, becoming conscious. Because if we're not noticing in the moment, then all of a sudden it's gathered its own momentum. And it's taking us on down the road in a way that is not necessarily helpful. As we're going forth with that wobble, we may not be able to control if we hit an icy patch. Now, I know we're not hitting icy patches right now in Texas, but even so, you know, that kind of, or a wet patch. Sometimes there are those that, and if we're so far out of alignment, then it literally, we lose control of the steering mechanism. Now, I like to believe that I'm not the one that's really doing the steering. There's a higher power in me. There's a divine awareness that when I let it steer, boy, it's got it covered. But when I'm in charge and I'm going full steam ahead and I'm out of alignment, I may hit that patch and suddenly I'm veered off and create a bigger problem than I ever intended, or a problem I never saw happening. Welcome, Tina, Pevlar, and Leanne Vogel. I am so honoring each of you. Mike, I have 2 rear tires and no front tires right now, right? We're riding on the rims, right? Sending sparks out everywhere we go. Have you ever done that? Riding on the rim and there's like sparks and it's grinding the whole way through and you know you're tearing up the entire rim. I've done it, obviously, or I wouldn't know about it. I've been rough on tires and rims both. And so I really have a relationship to this message. And the message of our alignment is one that I have a relationship to in spirit. What is it for us to live into this place of spirit that says, all right, I don't know how to handle all these emotions. How do I get them out? What do I do with this? You know, how do I just let that go so that I can come back in? And if I have to get new tires and new rims and do whatever I need and get my car realigned, to get myself realigned. Everybody, take a breath. Sometimes shake it out, you know, let it out. To know that we are being fueled by our experiences and by the kind of energies that are moving through us. And I don't think that it's a negative thing for us to have intensive energy about how to respond. It's just important that I look at that alignment within me Am I truly in alignment? If my goal is to really create change in a positive, meaningful way, and to do that with without a fallout afterwards, without collateral damage, then I need to take a look at, am I really in alignment in a way that I'm not going to create collateral damage in my process? Whew. It's a big one. I look back at my life, and sometimes I remember a time when I realized I wasn't aware of the wake that I was leaving. Let's just say it, that there was a wake behind me, and it had effects. Have you ever skied across a wake and, or had a wake that affects your boat because you're next to a big boat that comes out, and then all of a sudden your boat is in that wake, and it has huge effects. It sent your pontoon boat flying at one point. And so where am I creating a wake? And I may not even be aware of the aftershocks and the effects of that. So if I can get myself in alignment, and there's some places where it's a no wake zone. Maybe we need to be in a bit of a no wake zone with ourselves right now. Not no waking up, but no wake that we're unaware of the repercussions of. Be conscious of what you're leaving in the trail behind you, and realign yourself to a higher way of being. And when we do that, when we settle in, we find ways to get that energy out, and we settle into knowing, I may be focused, and I may be absolutist, and I may be clear in this place that I'm in, and I may be taking action because it's time. I can no longer not speak up, but am I doing it in a place that really is that empowered place, and in that empowered place for others, for them to get a message that is moving this universe forward, that is helping us know that yes, we do need to say no more of what has been. We're not living in that world any longer, and we're choosing something different. So don't be afraid to take a stance by any means. Just be clear about that within you, as that you have realigned yourself from the whammy of the initial phase of experience before you go taking off haphazardly. That to me is such an important part, and what's happening as we are beginning to collect and come together, and we're beginning to direct our attention and direct our focus into whether we're meditating together, whether we're marching together, whether we're calling forth a higher way of expressing, whether we're looking people in the eye and saying, I'm sorry, let me take a knee to you and apologize for all the ways that I've participated. I love watching what's happening out there in the world, and people that are really consciously engaging. And it is a time where we need to do that in all the ways we've created separation, all the ways we've stayed in misalignment. Let us instead be a part of this solution. Get our alignment on, and then get our action on. Our words, our thoughts, our feelings. We will be inspired by the consciousness within us to know exactly what to do in each moment. But when we're off kilter, we can't quite hear it and see it completely. So I invite you to really join me in finding that realignment, and then, wow, it is going to be so potent and powerful what we bring, because we're bringing it from a place of truth and harmony and greater peace and awareness into the world. That's what we're here for. That's what I know is this tribe is out there doing. And I am so grateful to be on this journey with each one of you as we light this world on fire with truth and with alignment to something higher, with a new world that is calling us in vibration and in expression. And I am thrilled to be part of it. I did get a new air conditioning system fixed up all today. Maybe not the whole system, just a new thermostat, and other things that needed to happen. So thank you, Kimberly Wright, for helping me with that. And I am so grateful to each of you. I guess I needed to cool down myself. I love how the universe gives us messages. All right. Love you all. Have a blessed day.